Hello, everyone. Welcome to Championship Wrestling. Here at ringside, Vince McMahon along with the wrestling great Pat Patterson. This week, another look at the Russian Bear, Ivan Koloff.
Well, Vince, he is a wrestling machine. I keep saying that. The man is in tremendous condition. You know, we've talked so much about Backlund being in great condition. But this man is equally conditioned as Bob Backlund. He can go and go and go, and that's what makes it so hard to beat him.
Scheduled as well to join us, of course, we shall see the Strongbow brothers, Jules and Jay, in tag team action. Also, in yet another tag team, Tony Garea and Eddie Gilbert. But, of course, Pat Patterson. The biggest news of all this week. The Intercontinental title defense of the magnificent Morocco against the number one contender, deservedly so, Rocky Johnson. It's pick'em time. Who will win?
Well, Vince, I'll tell you what. I've been looking forward to this match, and I picked Rocky Johnson, and I'll tell you why. Rocky Johnson has been wanting a match like this for a long time. He's well prepared, and he is going to let nothing stop him. And that's why I picked Rocky Johnson, and I hope he does it.
On the opening contest, it is set for one fall with a 10-minute time limit. But first, I want to introduce the manager, the fashion plate of wrestling, Fred Balassi. And in the corner to my right, from Wilmington, Delaware, weighing in at 243 pounds, it is Miguel Feliciano. And his opponent in the corner to my left, from Moscow, Russia, weighing in at 241 pounds, here is the former World Wrestling Federation's heavyweight champion, Ivan Koloff.
Ivan Koloff. The Bear is back. Koloff, an individual competition. Here we go. Koloff out on the apron now. Koloff with Feliciano right where he wants him. Rams the knee down into the back. Hauls his man over, covers him. Easy victory. Easy victory.
Koloff wants competition. The tougher the better for him. That's what he likes. Real competition.
Is a time 1 minute and 55 seconds on the winner, Ivan Koloff.
Koloff victorious as we take a look at what we saw earlier on.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the next contest, it is a non-title tag team match scheduled for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing in the corner to my left, from New York City, weighing 239 pounds, it is that unpredictable Johnny Rodz. And his partner from Sioux City, Iowa, weighing in at 255 pounds, it is Bob Bradley. And in the corner to my right, from Pawhuska, Oklahoma, weighing in at a combined weight of 497 pounds, here are the World Wrestling Federation's Tag Team Champions, the Strongbow brothers, Jules and Jay.
The Strongbow brothers, no doubt, fan favorites in the World Wrestling Federation. Strongbows against Bradley and his partner Johnny Rodz, who has had great difficulty in the past in selecting a tag team partner that indeed gels with Mr. Rodz.
Well, we'll have to see what happens.
Oh my, right to the bread basket, to the buckle, kick to the midsection. Jay Strongbow in control. Has Bradley pretty much right where he wants him, trying to set him up, has him on the rope. Whip to the near side, Jay Strongbow with a double tomahawk chop. Bradley out, the timekeeper's table. Jay Strongbow trying to bring him back in. Bradley at this juncture, no doubt, a bit perplexed there. The sticker hold.
That's going to be it for Bradley.
Jay Jerry Strongbow with a sleeper hook. Jules takes care of Johnny Rodz, keeping him at bay. And the Strongbow brothers look very, very good. Very good. Referee wanting Jay Strongbow to awaken Mr. Bradley. Jules now works the neck a bit. And hello.
Here is the time. 4 minutes and 24 seconds on the winners. The World Wrestling Federation's Tag Team Champions, the Strongbow Brothers, Jules and Jay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the next contest set for one fall with a 10-minute time limit. But first, I want to introduce the manager. Here he is, that fearless Captain Lou Albano. And in the corner to my right, from St. Pete Beach, Florida, weighing 230 pounds, it is Barry Hart. And in the corner to my left, from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, weighing in at 282 pounds, it is Iron Mike Sharp.
Big fella. That's Iron Mike Sharp. Against Barry Hart. We shall have some action here in a moment. Barry Hart with a forearm uppercut. Barry Hart with another one. However, Mike Sharp takes right over. Mike Sharp on top of Barry Hart.
Again, adjusting his forearm band there, and hit Barry Hart right on the top of the head and just about knocked him out.
Look at the official time.
It is time, 2 minutes and 51 seconds, and the winner, Iron Mike Sharp. Ladies and gentlemen, the next contest is scheduled for one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing in the corner to my left, from the Rio Grande, Puerto Rico, weighing in at 230 pounds, it is Victor Mercado. And in the corner to my right, from Brooklyn, New York, weighing 235 pounds, it is Pete Sanchez.
Sanchez against Mercado, two relatively evenly matched individuals. Here we go. Mr. Fuji waiting in the wings to lock up with young Curt Hennig. That should be an outstanding matchup.
It should be a very interesting match. There again, Curt Hennig has challenged anyone. I give that kid credit. I really do. Reverse headlock by Sanchez.
Thus far, pretty much of a lackluster matchup. Telegraph. Telegraph attempted a back body drop, just like that.
Nice small package. Really took advantage of that situation, I'll tell you.
Well, you could very easily see Mercado attempting to set the back body drop up. He really telegraphed it. And Sanchez wasted no time at all in his maneuver.
And there is a time, 3 minutes and 4 seconds, and the winner, Pete Sanchez.
Pete Sanchez gets the dick. We'll take another look at it.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the next contest is set for one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing in the corner to my right, from Elk River, Minnesota, weighing 235 pounds, here is Curt Hennig. And in the corner to my left, from Osaka, Japan, weighing in at 270 pounds, here is Mr. Fuji.
Mr. Fuji.
Fuji just loves to see his opponent suffering. And when his opponent suffers, that's when he smiles. He loves it.
Curt Hennig doing very well for himself. We suspected he might drop kick by Hennig. No. Fuji alertly moving out of the way. Hennig landed right on the back of his neck. With Fuji sensing victory. Oh my! Cover by Fuji.
Headbutt right in the stomach. And they really came down with that headbutt. And look at Hennig really in pain. Hennig is suffering.
The views expressed in Rogers' corner, those of Mr. Rogers alone, not necessarily those of us on Championship Wrestling or this station. With that in mind, we take you now to Buddy Rogers.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This week, my guest is none other than the former Worldwide Wrestling Federation champion, Ivan Koloff. I feel by saying that this gentleman is really in shape, and to me looks like Mr. Perpetual Motion. I feel whenever his opponent gets in the ring with him, he's got to be in shape, or the tide will go the other way. I know you have a gripe. Let's hear it.
You know, just like you say, whenever you see Koloff wrestle just a few minutes ago, this American was so scared of Koloff, he faint whenever he see Koloff go off the top rope with hammer and sickle to his back. He passed out on Koloff because he know Koloff is in this area for one reason, to become either world champion or international or intercontinental champion, because everybody know Koloff is in condition. And like before, when I was world champion.
In other words, you want a shot at that title again.
This is right. The U.S. dollar, American dollar. This one.
Well, maybe perhaps that might happen. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll go back to ringside wrestling. Thank you.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the next contest, it is a tag team match scheduled for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing from Slaughters Creek, North Carolina, weighing 290 pounds, it is Swede Hansen. And his partner from Puerto Rico, weighing in at 231 pounds, it is Mac Rivera. And in the corner to my right, from Auckland, New Zealand, weighing 240 pounds, it is Tony Garea. And his partner from Lexington, Tennessee, weighing 225 pounds, it is Eddie Gilbert.
I'm surprised that the Swede does not stay in the ring that long. Look at Gilbert fighting back.
Drop kick, nails him. Nicely done. Eddie Gilbert sets up another drop kick. Gilbert tagged to Garea now. Mac Rivera on his feet. Leapfrog by Garea. Coming right back at him. Flying body press. 2 and 3. Tony Garea and Eddie Gilbert. Once again victorious. Swede Hansen, when he was in there, was doing very well for himself, but no one man can defeat any two in a tag team. The magnificent Morocco, the reigning Intercontinental Champion, as we see him strut about the squared circle. One follow in at the referee. Look at that. Morocco going to work on Rocky Johnson, taking right over at him. We have action. Morocco hammering away. The the rope. Rocky Johnson wants the title. He wants it desperately. Lou Albano hooked it. Did you see that?
I
he
sure
just hooked
did.
the ankle. 1, 2. Rocky Johnson kicks out.
He's ready, Vince. He's gonna get him.
Rocky Johnson all over Morocco. Has him out. Oh, what a shot. Albano trying to distract Johnson again. Has him out. Tremendous body slam. Rocky Johnson taking control of this match. He should be champion right now. Abdominal stretch. Has him. He's gonna get it. Abdominal stretch. That's it. That's it. A new champion. Victory for Rocky Johnson. Oh my, what a tremendous victory. Rocky Johnson victorious.
What a match. And Rocky Johnson really had to worry about Lou Albano. By God, he came out doing it. Now we're going to go back to Vince.
Tremendous victory indeed, Rocky Johnson. Pat Patterson, you said that Rocky Johnson was going to take it. You were right 100%. Rocky Johnson, through all odds, he had him right where he wanted him in a small package. Lou Albano stepped into the ring and interfered. He had him right there. He's supposed to be champion right then.
Well, Vince, I'll tell you what. Rocky, I suspect that Morocco gave up. The match went to Rocky Johnson, and Rocky Johnson is the new champion. That's all there is to it.
Lou Albano continued time and time again to interfere. As a matter of fact, in the abdominal stretch, Lou Albano stepped in the ring just as the referee gave the signal for the timekeeper.
Yes, I know, but as far as I know, Vince, Rocky Johnson is the new champion. As far as I could see, Morocco was giving up.
Well, it's going to be most interesting. As a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, perhaps we'll have a further comment later on. It appears as though we have, indeed, as you said it was going to happen, a new Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, sensational Rocky Johnson. This capacity crowd is thrilled.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, this next contest, scheduled for one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing in the corner to my left from Salt Lake City, Utah, weighing in at 238 pounds, here is Eddie Carson. And in the corner to my right from Italy, weighing 230 pounds, it is Salvatore Bellomo.
We'll start all over again now. Pat Patterson. A little clarification on the Intercontinental matchup. It appears as though we have a new champion, but yet we understand there's a little more to it than what obviously meets the eye.
Well, I got to lay the bomb on you. We don't have a new champion. We all thought, you and I and the thousands of fans who are here, we all thought that Morocco gave up. When Johnson
Morocco was indeed in a submission hold applied by Rocky Johnson, was he not?
Definitely, and we all thought that he gave up when the referee rang the bell. And when the referee rang the bell, with all the excitement, Rocky Johnson automatically thought that Morocco gave up. He let go of the hold, jumped up in the air, thinking that he's the new champion. I thought so, you thought so, everybody did. But what has happened is Lou Albano was making an entrance to the ring. And this automatically a disqualification when the manager stepped in the ring. The referee rang the bell, disqualified Morocco. The winner is Rocky Johnson, but he is not the champion. And believe me,
sleazy. Albano kept interfering all the way through. At one time, for crying out loud, the referee was distracted by Lou Albano when there was a small package. You could have counted to 10. Rocky Johnson had Morocco in a small package. Pat, you could have counted to 10. Finally, the referee turns back around, only got 2 on Morocco. But that was one time. There were other times all the way through that match where Albano continued to interject himself, continued to interfere.
Well, you know, Vince, at that point, the referee could have counted to 10, as you say, could have disqualified Morocco because of Albano, but I guess he let the match go. And Albano did so much that the referee had no choice but disqualifying Morocco because Albano was coming into the ring. And Albano, believe you me, did that deliberately to save the championship because he knew that Morocco was done.
What does this do to Rocky Johnson? Does it crush forever his hope to become champion? I'm sure even at this moment, thinks that he is the Intercontinental Champion.
I tell you what, Vince, he knows he can beat Morocco. He is more confident than ever. He had him beat, and he's going to do a lot of screaming and a lot of crying, and he's going to get back in the ring with that man.
Well, again, as you've seen, very aptly brought out, it appeared as though it was Rocky Johnson's match almost all the way through, with the exception, of course, at the beginning, when Johnson was caught from behind by Morocco, attacking him. But after that, Johnson got himself together. You could see the determination in the face of Rocky Johnson. So perhaps indeed, Rocky Johnson has proven that he just may be the man that can defeat the magnificent Morocco. But I know he is dejected, maybe even crushed at this moment, as a lot of fans are as well. Join us next week, ladies and gentlemen, for more exciting championship wrestling.
Superstars of Wrestling brings you another hour of excitement, thrills, and action. Hello, I'm George Cannon, and I'm welcoming all of you to another hour of Superstars of Wrestling, where you will see the very best in the sport of professional wrestling. Now let's go up to the ring where all the action and excitement is taking place. Well, wrestling fans, this is what we were talking to you about a little bit earlier in the program, that you're going to be in on the signing for the championship match between Dino Bravo, promoter Frank Valois, and Frank Valois is the promoter of the wrestling in Montreal, and this match will be taking place in Montreal, and international champion Billy Robinson is represented by Lord Alfred Hayes. And seated at the table, the gentleman with the glasses is promoter Frank Valois, who was a wrestler in his own right for many years, the manager of Andre the Giant. And he's explaining now the rules and regulations. Now, the stipulation in this match is because Billy Robinson leaves the ring so many times during a match that the commission has had to put a stop to it. And the only way they could do it is to limit Billy Robinson to 5 times. Now, that doesn't include any times that he might go out accidentally. Here's Lord Alfred Hayes. And Alfred Hayes is questioning the validity of the contract. And what has happened, they counted Billy Robinson going out 21 different times in the match. So the Athletic Commission has got together with promoter Frank Valois, and of course all of the fans endorsed this. And they're explaining now to Billy Robinson and Lord Alfred Hayes that the contract will state this way, will read like this, that if Billy Robinson goes out of the ring a 6th time during the match. Now, Billy Robinson does not speak French. Lord Alfred Hayes understands the French language, and they are talking in the French language for this contract. Dino Bravo is seated on this close side to us in the 2-colored sweater. And what it amounts to is this, that if Billy Robinson leaves the ring voluntarily the 6th time, that he will not only be disqualified, but will be stripped of the international championship that he now holds. And Lord Alfred Hayes, seen here, is clarifying this point with promoter Frank Valois. And of course, Dino Bravo was very anxious for them to sign this type of contract because it will prevent. Now, you can hear Robinson or Lord Alfred Hayes is now commenting, or at least telling Billy Robinson.
George is making up excuses, you know, like he's saying, what if Dino leaves the ring somehow? But this has been, I think there's been some fans, hundreds of fans that have petitioned this, and this is what this came all about. Because he has done it in the last 6 months, all he does is run out.
Well, ever since Billy Robinson has been associated with Lord Alfred Hayes, I don't know if it's Lord Alfred, who we see now, has conspired or whatever he has done with Billy Robinson, but he's made him into the type of wrestler who he is a good wrestler, but for the least reason he will leave the ring and voluntarily walk around, take his time, get back in when he wants, and the fans are tired of it. They don't want to see it any longer.
That's right, and I'm glad that they're doing this. I'm glad that the commission is moving towards the right way, because it's not fair to the opponent that Robinson's got. As soon as you got him tired out and you put him into a submission hold, he kind of somehow escapes and runs outside and rests for about 3 minutes, which is not fair. So I hope everything that the commission can do is done, and I hope that Dino will get another chance on that title match. And then we'll see who's a better man.
Well, I think the point that's going to be made right now is Dino is signing the contract. He's putting his name to the contract. Of course, he'd love to see this happen. Whether Lord Alfred Hayes can be talked into doing this or not remains to be seen, and we should see this in a few moments.
Well, right now, George, I think he's panicking because he knows that Dino is a top contender. And like I said, he's making up excuses, trying to get away from the fact that you can run out as much as you want.
Yeah, you just mentioned now that what if by accident he falls out, or what if Dino throws him out of the ring? Now, Lord Alfred Hayes' French is not the best in the world, but he can make himself understood. Billy's looking a little perplexed. He doesn't know what's happening at this moment. Of course, the wrestling fans here heartily approve of the contract stating that Robinson can only leave the ring 5 times voluntarily. The 6th time, Robinson's taken the pen now and is about to sign the contract. And if he does, we're going to see the match. He's doing it, and that's it, Tony.
Well, I'm glad they negotiated, because that is one match to see. I don't particularly know the date, but I hope every fan out there watching this will mark that down on their calendar, because we're going to see man-to-man who's really has it in a professional wrestling.
Well, you know, there has to be something psychological there, too, because in the back of Robinson's mind, all through that match is going to be, how many times have I gone out so far? If I make a mistake and go out once more, that might be it, right?
That's right. Well, he's in a danger point here. So,
well, he's put his name to the contract, and it's signed and sealed. Wrestling fans, a new ruling that's in effect, and we're very pleased to say that it's only for Billy Robinson, only when he defends his international title, and that is he is not allowed to leave the ring more than 5 times. The 6th time that he goes out of the ring, he will be disqualified and stripped of his title. This ruling was put into effect by the commission to prevent Billy from running. Now, as much as Billy Robinson and Lord Alfred Hayes would believe that they don't run, it has happened before, and one time to the tune of 21 times. Edward, what do you think about a man leaving the ring that many times?
I think this is good. You know, for the first time, the commission, I think, do something very good, you know. The fan asked this. I remember the last time, this is a couple of months ago, 21 times he go outside the ring. 21 times, it's mostly half an hour. You know, take a rest.
How can a man say that he doesn't run when he leaves the ring 21 times?
I don't know. You know, I got great respect for Billy Robinson. For me, he's one of the best wrestler today, you know. And I can't understand why he go outside the ring.
Well, probably it's, I would suspect it's Lord Alfred Hayes.
Maybe.
Yeah, he's got a lot to do with that. Whether Billy Robinson thinks it's right or not, Lord Alfred Hayes directs him, and I think he's instrumental in causing him to leave the ring that many times. For whatever reason, he sees fit, but he is behind the whole thing.
And this Nero is only 5 times. 5 times, he lost the belt.
That's right. The 6th time out, he stripped the title. Wrestling fans, there you have it. The commissioner said no more. The 6th time that you go to the ring, Billy Robinson, regardless of whether Lord Alfred Hayes is instrumental in you doing this or not, you're going to be stripped of your title. You will be disqualified, and you will lose the international championship. So, Lord Alfred, if this is what you want, for Billy Robinson, well then go ahead. Tell him to leave the ring for the 6th time.
Maintenant, dans le deuxième combat de la journée, de London, Ontario, from London, Ontario, pesant 225 livres, weighing 225 pounds, Bob Armstrong. Son adversaire de Montréal, pesant 225 livres, from Montreal, weighing 225 pounds, Dino Bravo. L'arbitre du match, Adrien Desbois.
Well, Dino Bravo in the ring with Bob Armstrong. And the referee rings the bell and action is underway. A lot of letters coming in from the Hull, Ottawa area. Your wrestling fans up there, promoter Tony Muley is said to remind you that wrestling takes place at the Robert Gaudin Arena in Hull, usually on Tuesdays. So if you want to see wrestling in the Ottawa Hull area, get over to the Robert Gaudin Arena, and you'll see good action there with some of the superstars and a lot more from different parts of North America and the world. The wrestling fans in Malone, Messina, Potsdam, Ogdensburg, New York. Wrestling will be coming to all of your towns, and I know we're getting a lot of letters from that area asking when. And in Potsdam, next Friday night, you will see professional wrestling. Such stars as the super intelligent Destroyer and many others. And that is in Potsdam next Friday night. And don't forget, once again, in Hull, Robert Gaudin Arena, promoter Tony Muley putting on tremendous cards up there with all of the wrestlers you see on the Superstars of Wrestling. Oh. When Dino throws that chop, he really lays them in. There he goes, Armstrong up. Atomic drop. The second one back into a suplex. That's it. 1, 2, 3. It's all over. The winner of the fall in the match, Dino Bravo.
The winner, Dino Bravo.
All professional wrestlers are battered and scarred. Cauliflower ears, broken noses, ruptured diaphragms, chromium bone fractures, collarbones, patella bones. But Joe LeDuc, the new Joe LeDuc, you have about as many scars, as many stitches on your body as any other wrestler I know.
Well, you know, a body can take only so much, but a man is the same. A man can only take so much. Everybody say the new Joe LeDuc. It's not the new Joe LeDuc. For God's sake, it's the same Joe LeDuc that was here 7 years ago. Only 7 years more experience and 7 years of more madness. Madness, if you call it. Mr. Robinson, Mr. Hayes, the ghoul, the dog, whatever you want to call them. This is Joe LeDuc that was here before. Joe LeDuc from Montreal, Canada. Joe LeDuc, the Canadian citizen. And Joe LeDuc that can hit with the right. And when Joe LeDuc hit with the right, it goes down. And that's what counts. Nothing else. You want to talk about scars, you want to talk about stitches. It's good enough. I've got enough. I've got a lot of scars, but I've got a lot of memories. And Montreal is my city. Quebec is my province. Canada is my country. I belong here. It's mine. It belongs to me.
Joe LeDuc, I've seen him hit with the right, and when he hits with the right, there's very little left. The new Joe LeDuc.
Poursuit, mesdames, messieurs, avec un autre excellent combat. De Détroit, from Detroit, pesant 225 livres, weighing 225 pounds, Big Mac. Son adversaire, du Japon, from Japan, pesant 245 livres, weighing 245 pounds, Mr. Hito.
Third bout on the card, Mr. Hito from Tokyo, Japan, going against Big Mac from Detroit, Michigan. Should be a very good match.
You know, George, I've noticed lately that most of the wrestlers must have bad knees, especially the young, upcoming wrestlers. Everybody's wearing knee pads, which a few years back, you'd never see a wrestler with knee pads on. I don't know why, but apparently it could be the rings to make him more stronger and firmer.
Well, I know in the case of Big Mac, he's had an operation on the left leg that he was working over now. He had a cartilage removed and some of the patella bone, the kneecap. He had an operation sometime last year. And I don't think you ever fully get over these things. I don't know. I've had problems with both my knees all my life. One cartilage floating around. I cracked the patellabone. A minuscule cartilage ruptured. And I know it's painful as all get out. Especially when the weather gets a little damp.
A little dampness, sure does.
That's using your head, Mac.
You know, that's one thing I don't think I ever got was a headbutt.
You never had a headbutt?
Well, I've had from a few of the guys, but not from a black man. Never got headbutted by a black man yet.
You feel left out?
Well, sort of, because I like to find out how hard it is there.
We can arrange next time Bobo's around. I'll ask him to give you a headbutt. That is a famous Japanese hold called chicken chest.
There goes the suplex. Looks like the end of the match.
That's it. Winner of the fall and the match. From Tokyo, Japan, Mr. Hito.
Le gagnant, the winner, Mr. Hito.
Here's a man who needs no introduction. I'm talking about Eddie Creechman, the man who calls himself the Brain. He has another new protege, another new man under his wing. And, of course, that's the Moondog Eddie. I don't have to talk to the people about Eddie Creechman. They know you. They know
Certainly,
how corrupt you are.
Everybody knows me, George, and I want to tell you something. He is not a new protege. He is my ex-protege, but he was gone and is back. And I'm going to call him the Moondog. You know why? Because everywhere he goes, every arena that he's going to wrestle in, he's going to have that big bone that you just got under your nose. And I'm going to tell you people something. Everywhere you see a wrestling match, everywhere you see Eddie the Brain Creechman and Sailor White, you better come in. Moondog! It's going to be really something. Now, he wants me to call him Moondog. I don't care. I can call him Dog. I don't have to call him Moondog. I'll call him whatever I want as long as we get in there and get rid of all our opponents. We take on anybody. Nobody is barred. We don't care who they are, George. But I'd like to know one thing, George Cannon. In all respect that I got for you, how come when I'm at the microphone and I speak, you stand there and you look so sophisticated? You can't talk. Are you short words?
The only reason I do that is because you talk and you make up all the time, and I'm sure the wrestling fans would like to hear what you have to say.
Sure, everybody likes to hear me speak because everybody knows that when I'm around, they're going to get all the action they want. And you can be sure, with all the protégés that I got, it's going to be real thunder everywhere in the province of Quebec. Whether Lord Alfred Hayes is there with his protégé, whether anybody else is there, I don't care. But as long as I'm there,
Eddie
and
the
I am
Brain
a
Creasman.
manager.
Nous voilà donc de retour pour un autre excellent combat, cette fois opposant, venant de la Hongrie, from Hungary, pesant 240 livres, weighing 240 pounds, the Wolf Man. Son adversaire, venant d'un endroit inconnu, from nowhere, pesant 233 livres, weighing 233 pounds, the Destroyer.
Man working over the super intelligent destroyer outside the ring, and the destroyer just got his t-shirt off. Hungarian Wolfman out on the floor, wrapping the head of the destroyer on the apron. And this is the same super intelligent destroyer who will be in Potsdam next Friday night. And let me assure you, fans in Messina and Ogdensburg and Malone, you're going to see professional wrestling in your town. Just keep your eyes open, watch out for it. Also wrestling in the North Country, Superstars of Wrestling will be coming to the North Country, to Northern Ontario. Also, you see Superstars of Wrestling throughout the province of Quebec, the state of Michigan, Ohio, all over North America, the Superstars of Wrestling in action.
The Wolfman is a maniac. You never know what he's going to do next. There he is. He's hooked up now.
Now he's hooked in the ropes, and the destroyer's got him stretched out. Whoa! No kicky, no kicky. Fans are urging him, go ahead. Funny how bloodthirsty they get, Tony. 3 minutes remaining in the match.
There he goes with that leg again.
There it is. One, two. He's got it. He's got it.
Yep.
Figure four. He's got it. And that's it. That's it. He's taking a lot of punishment, Tony. That's it. He finally gave us winner of the fall in the match by submission. Super Intelligent Destroyer. And now for the official announcement. A lot of exciting matches coming up Monday night. One of the big ones on that card, of course, is going to have Dino Bravo in the ring, and it's always a pleasure to talk to Dino. Dino, you know, when you have people out here screaming and yelling at you, when somebody like you or Tony or Gino comes along, it's Jerry O, it's really a pleasure. But let's get away from that. Let's talk about this match coming up Monday night.
Well, it's something I've been waiting for quite a long time, and I know exactly how Mr. Robinson feels right now because he planned it that way. His strategy was to get out of that ring. He got out of the way with it for 7 months. July 21st, they stripped me of the title, and that's probably worse than getting beat, to lose a title when you're stripped of it. And I'm sure Robinson's going to go out there and wrestle with everything that he's got, and he's a fine wrestler, probably the greatest wrestler Europe ever produced. But to gain that title, he never beat me, but he beat the #1 French-Canadian wrestler that that I've seen in the last 15 years in Ricky Martel. He's the #1 contender in the AWA, and Robinson defeated him in Montreal. So Monday is my chance, and it's hard for me to express how I feel right now, but I know one thing. Hayes and Robinson, I'm sure that's chaos because they are confused. It hit him with like a thunderbolt. They did not expect that new ruling. Athletic Commission did it because of the fan pressure, and it's made. If he goes out there ring, that's 6th time that bell's going to ring. They're going to take that title, and he won't be the champion no more. And I'm sure it's chaos right now between Hayes and Robinson.
Well, I think it's about time that somebody stepped on their toes a little bit. They've had their way for so long. One reason that Billy is the champion, regardless of his ability, has to be attributed to the man who's in his corner, whether you call him a manager, a valet, or a consort, or whatever. Lord Alfred Hayes will be out there with Billy Robinson, but that new ruling, Robinson, if you go to the ring the 6th time, you're not only going to be disqualified from that match, you're going to be stripped of the title. You will no longer be the international champion. Monday night, the action at Paul Sylvie.
Here we go with tag team action to curfew. And in this match, we see the Hangman teaming up with Tony Russo, going against the combination of Alec Girard and Luis Laurent. When he announced Tony Russo, the announcer from South America, he is from Chile, from Santiago, Chile, and of course that is in South America, and he is now manhandled by Luis Laurent with a side headlock.
Got him back in the same hole now. He's still not giving up. I think the Hangman is getting frustrated a little bit.
Well, if they don't reach him, and I'm talking about Tony Russo, if he doesn't reach him, I don't think that side's going to win the ball. It looks like our prediction will go down the drain. The point right now is, can Girard and Laurent keep it up? Can they manage to keep this match going and keep Russo from tagging the Hangman? As 3 minutes remaining, 180 seconds of action. Russo is finally making some sort of a comeback on Girard. The point is, will he be able to? And I think he is going to tag the Hangman. Here comes Luis Laurent. And Russo's working over Girard. The tag still hasn't been made. Have you ever seen that before, Tony?
No. I think that's the bow and arrow.
That's a finishing hold.
Sure is.
This fall, winner of the match, winner of the fall, I should say, in the match, the Hangman and Tony Russo. There can't be any more than 2 minutes remaining in this duration.
Gagnant de la première chute, the winner of the first fall, the Bourreau and Tony Russo.
The Hangman, also called the Burro. Two minutes remaining in this match. Here we go. 1-0 for the team of the Hangman and Russo. And they're trying to make it 2-0. Laurent's in there on the tag, and he's going tooth and nail at Russo. He's trading punches back and forth, uppercuts, forearms, knee lifts. And here comes the Hangman, Tony. And it looks like it's all over. One minute remaining in this match. Counting down, 50 seconds remaining. Still 1-0. Hangman in the corner now with both Laurent and Girard. .30 seconds remaining in this match. 15 seconds remaining. 10 seconds remaining as we count down 1-0 to the gentlemen who will be involved in that exciting match coming up Monday night. And I use the term gentlemen because they requested it. Billy Robinson, international champion. Lord Alfred Hayes. And I don't know the terminology he wants to use. What do you call yourself? What is your title?
You can't speak English. You can't adequately run this program. The whole situation here leaves a lot to be desired. But most of all, the shabby treatment that's been handed to William Robinson, the international champion.
The justified treatment.
Will you be quiet while a lord is speaking? Now, firstly, you said I was a valet or a consort. I am a mentor. I'm also a very adequate wrestler. The conspiracy against Robinson and I is obvious here. I mean, be very logical about this. If a man is out of the ring more than 5 times, he loses his title. What is to stop Bravo from pitching him out 5 times in order to obtain such a quest? Think about it now. This is against us because we're Englishmen. Maybe not only because we're Englishmen, but let us say rather that we can thrash any Quebecois here in the state or the province of Quebec, especially in Montreal. Robinson and I are not happy. Speak about this.
What is there to say? The deck is stacked. What happens, you answer me, if Dino Bravo goes out 5 times? Does he lose the match too? You tell me, Mr. Cannon. Or is it all just for Dino Bravo? It won't help you, Bravo. It won't help you a bit.
Monday night, Paul Sovey. A lot of action be there. Don't forget, wrestling fans, if you want an answer to your letters, you have to enclose a stamped self-addressed envelope. Well, we've just seen another hour of excitement, thrills, and action with the superstars of wrestling. We will return next week with another hour of the very best in professional wrestling, and that is the superstars of wrestling.
The National Wrestling Alliance. And welcome once again to Southeastern Championship Wrestling. Charlie Platt along with Rick Stewart. And Rick, an action-packed hour today.
It's got to be one of the most exciting we've had in the last couple of weeks, Charlie. Right off the bat, the new state of Alabama champion, Tom Jones, in action.
And we see today the return of Brad Armstrong to Southeastern Championship Wrestling.
He's in a tough match against young Robert Gibson, and his father also making ring action, the Bullet, wrestling today on television as well.
Plus Mr. Olympia and Austin Idol as tag team partners.
They'll take on the Executioner and Norman Frederick Charles III, an excellent television main event. You make your plans now to stay with us for this next hour.
Speaking of the Executioner and Norman Frederick Charles III, also we'll show to some personality profile, and coming out to join us now,
Rick, make a little room for the Universal Heartthrob Austin Idol and his trainer, the Mongolian Stomper. And Charlie, first off, Austin, again, congratulations on you winning the tournament, and I know it's gung-ho for you, right?
Well, it certainly is, Rick, and believe you me, man, I've never trained this intensely in my entire life, and Charlie, right now I just feel like I'm really on top of the world right now. I'm in the best shape of my life, and I've never looked forward to anything as much as I've looked forward to wrestling Flair again.
We have some interesting videotape maybe you'd like to tell us about.
Not too long ago, Austin and the Mongolian Stomper were nice enough to allow me and the cameras of Southeastern Wrestling into their training camp, where they were working with one of the finest young wrestlers in the world today, and I'm sure you'll be the first to agree, fiery young Robert Gibson. So let's go to Mobile, Alabama's Expo Hall and take a look as Austin Idol gets ready for the World's Heavyweight Championship.
Austin, this is it, man. You're in the greatest condition of your life. We've gone through everything, defense, offense. We've trained every phase of it. This is it. We've got to thank this young man here for helping us out, man. You've done a great job. Thank you very much. Now, hey, you know this is a big one. You beat the guy before. This is the big one. You're in the peaky condition. You're mentally right. You've done it before, man. You've done it before. You've been there before. Remember? Yeah. Remember before? Remember? Yeah. Remember? Think about it. Think about it. Think about it.
Yeah.
Right now I have with me the only man in the history of professional wrestling ever to hold the NWA World Heavyweight Championship and the Worldwide Wrestling Federation Championship. Nature Boy Buddy Rogers. He's also the man who developed the figure four leg grapevine and the atomic knee drop. And Buddy, obviously, the figure four leg grapevine has become perhaps one of the most devastating and most successful holds in professional wrestling.
Well, I believe in both of them because I invented that hold, and it's been very good to me. But if you look back through the history of it, by golly, Jack Briscoe used it and became champion, and Eddie Graham was a superb wrestler. He used it. His son, Mike Graham, used it. There's many other wrestlers that have used it, and everyone have been very, very successful. But I would like to say this. Austin Idol, who I've worked out with and is in superior shape, and I do believe stands to be the next world champion if he gets that chance, does know this hold and knows it thoroughly. And I do know that if he puts it on someone, he will get the job done.
High praise indeed from one of the living legends in professional wrestling, former NWA and WWF champion, Nature Boy Buddy Rogers. And again, Austin, thank you, and thank you, Stomper, for allowing us into your training regimen, and the best of luck to you.
Austin, you know, earlier this week, in fact, this morning, I had a chance. I got a phone call from the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Ric Flair. Last week we had the comments of Flair, and he was irate about having to meet you again in the squared circle for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. If you remember last week's comments, he was very upset about the situation. However, today he was more of an arrogant Flair that I've heard in the past, and that is a good way to describe the man, arrogant. And the thing he keyed on the phone conversation is something that I just thought would pass along to you, and the fact was that he has found a cure for idolmania. You have I don't know exactly what he was referring to.
Well, you know, knowing Ric Flair as well as I do, I guess anybody else does, you know, we all know Ric Flair is a real flamboyant individual, and I would imagine
Yes,
by
indeed.
him saying that he's found a cure for idolmania is probably some type of psychological warfare. But Charlie, believe you me and Rick, man, I have trained religiously for this match right now, and Ric Flair is not going to psych me out, and I don't care what he says, nothing's going to psych me out. And as far as what he meant, as far as he has a cure for idolmania, I don't know what he meant.
Well, I know exactly what he meant. The Mongolian Stomper attacking Austin Idol from behind. Oh, Jesus. Idol, Stomper just slamming Austin Idol with the chair. Jesus Christ. Get somebody out here, man. Let's see to Austin. Come here. Get somebody out here. Man. We'll be right back. We'll be right back.
See excitement Thursday night when Southeastern Championship Wrestling comes to the Montgomery, Alabama Civic Center at 8 p.m. United States Junior Heavyweight Championship. No disqualification when Robert Gibson meets Bill Ash. State of Alabama title on the line. The Midnight Express says this is Norman Frederick Charles III's last chance as he challenges new champ Soul Man Tom Jones. Loser leave town versus the Mask. The Mongolian Stomper meets the Executioner for the Southeastern Tag Team Championships. The Universal Heartthrob Austin Idol and Mr. Olympia team up to challenge the Midnight Express Incorporated. Then, in the main event, Southeastern Heavyweight Championship on the line as Jimmy Golden defends against Bullet Bob Armstrong. Thursday night, the Montgomery Civic Center. Bell time is 8 p.m.
I'd like to remind our wrestling fans here in Montgomery that starting next Saturday night, wrestling will be seen, Southeastern Wrestling, here on Channel 20 at 10 o'clock each and every Saturday night. Jimmy Golden's with me now. Jimmy, we can disregard that wrestling card we just saw because the tournament is being put together. Two matches will remain the same, the Executioner and the Mongolian Stomper, and you will be defending that Southeastern Heavyweight Championship. Very unusual rules, Texas Deathmatch rules against Bob Armstrong, and Rick Stewart standing by. Let's hear the comments of Armstrong right now.
After the events of several minutes ago, the complete card for the Montgomery Civic Center is still up in the air. However, you will challenge for the Southeastern title of Jimmy Golden under Texas Death rules.
That's right, Texas Deathmatch rules, Golden. Now, he's a hometown favorite in Montgomery, but TDM, Texas Deathmatch, finds out who's the man of the bunch, and you're looking at the man, Bullet Bob. Highway robbery is the least I could say about how he stole that title using a woman to do it. And now I wonder what they're going to do. Austin Idol's got his nose and face rearranged by the Mongolian Stomper. What are they going to do now about who meets Flair? I should have been the man to meet Flair. Now they got themselves in a heck of a mess. That Stomper did a job on his face. I'm just interested in what's going to happen now.
By the way, by International Sports ruling, the new tournament that's being made up will not include Bullet Bob Armstrong.
Jimmy, there you have the comment of Armstrong, and it's going to be a big night in Montgomery.
Well, that's true, Charlie, and I can't go without mentioning what happened to Austin Idol out here, and I'm going to tell you, it's a dirty, rotten shame. We got some real cutthroat people in this area that have really been knocking some people out of the chances of getting at Ric Flair. And Bob Armstrong, you're one of those cutthroats. I'm going to cut your throat, big bad Bullet Bob. And right here says the whole thing right here, Sonny boy, because it's around my waist. I'm the favorite in the whole southeastern area, not just Montgomery, Alabama, because I'm bigger and badder and tougher than you ever thought about being, Sonny boy. You're going to find that out in Montgomery, Alabama. Texas death match, I wouldn't want it any other way. Falls don't count. Charlie, you know that anything goes in this type of match. And Bob Armstrong, I'm going to kick your butt all over that ring. I got one thing that you got coming. I've got it for you, Sonny boy. That's a big old pile driver right in the top of your head.
Ladies and gentlemen, certainly a lot of confusion after what you have just seen here moments ago on Southeastern Championship Wrestling. We've been in the back on the telephone, and we'll be continue to making calls at the remainder of this hour. Austin Idol has, we know for sure, a fractured cheekbone, broken nose. It looks like he will not be able to face NWA World Heavyweight Champion Ric Flair. So after being on the phone just moments ago, the only thing left for International Sports Incorporated to do is to put together another one-night round-robin tournament so we can find an opponent for NWA World Heavyweight Champion Ric Flair, who will be here in the southeastern area very shortly. We do understand that there will be a tournament. We hope to have this thing put together before by the time our personality profile runs around in today's program. However, we have found out, International Sports says that because of what has happened, the Mongolian Stomper will be barred from that tournament. So that match will remain the same. It will be Loser Lee versus Mask as he takes on the Executioner. And that Texas death match situation continues because Bob Armstrong also barred from any tournaments here in the southeastern wrestling area because of his conduct. We don't have the full details. Once again, we'll try to get back on the phone just as soon as possible. Rick?
Charlie, I've got a phone call out for you. If you go ahead and
take care
thank
of
you
it.
very much. A couple more guys on the phone. We're trying to contact as many stars as we can. Pardon for the interruption of this 2-minute interview. I'm sorry. Charlie is on the phone with several stars, as are the other people in International Sports. 2 matches will remain the same on your card. The Mongolian Stompers match, Loser Lee Town versus the Mask with the Executioner, and the Southeastern title match of Bullet Bob Armstrong and Jimmy Golden will remain the same. Hopefully, by the time Personality Profile, we'll have more details for you on this. Welcome back to Southeastern Championship Wrestling. We're going to go right to the ring and dispense with the ring introductions, if you would. It'd be one fall with a 10-minute time limit. In the blue corner, Robert Gibson. In the dark blue trunks, his opponent, Brad Armstrong, returning to the southeast. In the light blue turquoise trunks, Brad from Marietta, Georgia. Charlie is on the phone right now after what just happened. We're trying to get something decided about this card and trying to really figure out just exactly what's going on. We'll keep you posted as to what exactly is happening, but I just really don't know what to say. It's one of the most reprehensible things that I've seen in quite some time. Robert Gibson now on the offensive. Blocked by Armstrong. Gibson trying for that field throw, and Brad Armstrong reversed into the turnbuckles by Robert Gibson, and Gibson trying for that shoulder block, ducked out, and I believe almost hit that ring post, or maybe he did. I can't see from our angle.
That's that same shoulder that I threw out for him in Oklahoma. That's that same shoulder. Look at him.
Referee,
he's in pain now.
Wait a minute. From the dressing room, Bullet Bob Armstrong. Brad apparently standing back from the injured Robert Gibson. as Bob is shouting at him, I believe, to continue the match and take his win. What would almost be a... Armstrong now screaming, I said, beat him, beat him. Whoa. Whoa. Oh. Well, Bob Armstrong just slapped Brad. I don't even want to speculate on this kind of confrontation. But to Brad Armstrong's credit, and let's give this young man this much credit, he is a sportsman, he is a professional athlete, and he is not intimidated by the bully tactics of some other people around here.
Well, I'll tell you this. His father was trying to teach him a lesson, trying to correct him. The young man should have listened to his father. Sometimes a parent has to get the attention of a child.
Just throw it out. Referee Jimmy McGuire rules.
Don't say it, no contest. Just throw it out.
Rules that this match will be thrown out.
Okay. The man should have listened to his father. That's all I can say.
The United States Senior Heavyweight Champion.
But the one-night round-robin tournament has been signed. We have been on the phone. We have competitors coming in from all over the country. And ladies and gentlemen, here is the one-night round-robin tournament card.
Don't miss the excitement when Southeastern Championship Wrestling presents a special invitational world title tournament. 11 matches in all, no increase in prices. First round pairings, the winner to meet Ric Flair in March. Brad Armstrong faces Dennis Condrey. Robert Fuller and Tom Jones. Mr. Olympia versus Randy Rose. Ken Lucas meets Bill Ash. Tony Charles faces Norvell Austin. Plus 2 more matches. For the loser leave town versus the Mask, the Mongolian Stomper, and the Executioner. Southeastern Heavyweight Championship on the line. Texas Death Rules when Jimmy Golden defends against Bob Armstrong. A one-night invitational world title tournament. The winner to meet Ric Flair in March. 11 matches in all, no increase in prices.
All during the Southeastern Championship Wrestling, I have been on the phone. This is the championship card, the tournament card that you just heard that will take the actions of the Mongolian Stomper. Also coming in for this one-night round-robin tournament, a gentleman we have not seen in action for quite some time here in the Southeastern Wrestling area. Definitely a favorite. We're talking about Robert Fuller.
Yeah, well, I can understand that, and, I've never been one to run away from a chance to get a match at a world's champion, and the Southeastern area there is famous for having these type tournaments. I'm sorry to hear about Austin Idol. I'm sorry to hear about the circumstances involved in the thing, but nevertheless, if there's going to be a tournament, then there's going to be a Fuller in it, and that Fuller is going to be Robert Fuller. And I've wrestled in tournaments before in the Southeastern area, trying to gain some ground to wrestle the world's champion, and I've never been able to wrestle a world's champion, and I'll tell you, I'm going to have to cancel some contractual agreements to wrestle elsewhere to be able to enter the tournament. And I want to say this, that canceling these commitments, I'm going to make another commitment right now, and that's to be the man that's going to meet the world's champion when he comes to the Southeast. And that's the name to meet him is going to be Robert Fuller, and the Fullers will be represented.
Heavyweight champion, and speaking of the Southeastern Heavyweight champion, we'd like to invite him to come out and join us right now. Jimmy Golden. We have some videotape highlights of just what did happen, Jimmy, and I'm sure you got a lot you want to say about this particular piece of videotape.
It's true, Charlie. This is the match where Miss Richter was my manager. And before I get into what's happening here, I asked Miss Richter to be very careful of Armstrong and not to turn her back at all times. And if he came out on the floor, that I'd be out there to help him. And that Armstrong would try to jump her from behind and hurt her if he could, and he did succeed at doing that. One thing that he didn't succeed at was winning this match, and he lost the Southeastern Championship. And you can see here beforehand, we've had a tough struggle up to now. He had me going pretty good. Now I've got the arm bar on Armstrong, and he's squealing to the referee, watch my hair. I haven't touched his hair. And he's looking for him a shortcut here so that he can get back at it. But Armstrong's got his day coming, and you're going to see that coming right here in a few minutes, Charlie and Rick.
In the course of this match, at the time Bob Armstrong was Southeastern champion, did you find that having Wendy Richter in your corner gave you a psychological lift at all?
None at all, Charlie. Wendy was there just because she asked to be there, and because her friend was in the hospital, and she wanted to see Armstrong get beat. She didn't help me in any way whatsoever. You watch the film close. She did not interfere in the match at all. And Armstrong lost the match right in the middle of the ring. Now, he's giving her a hard time right here. Of course, she's screaming and hollering as much as she can for me, which may irritate Armstrong. Now, right here, he gives me a shot, brother, that hurt real bad. Now, I was doubled up there, and I lost my wind there, and I felt like that I may lose the match from this point on. But Armstrong messed up. Right here, you can see he spreads out too much. He's going to let me get on the inside of him. And I want to ask you one thing. Right there, inside cradle, Armstrong, if you're so big and bad, how come you didn't kick out of this inside cradle? 1, 2, 3. He lost it. He didn't kick out of it because I had the clampers on him, baby, and I held him there for the 1, 2, 3 count. And there's your new Southeastern champion. Wendy Richter did not interfere in the match as whatsoever. Now here, he takes a cheap shot, sucker shot on me and knocks me. Now Wendy was just trying to pull me out of the ring. He reaches through, grabs her by the hair of the head, and now he's going to give her that pile driver. Now Armstrong, you're going to pay for that, sonny boy. You're going to pay dearly for that. I'm the Southeastern champion. We got a match coming up, and I'm going to drop you on your head, son.
We'll be back with more of Southeastern Wrestling in just a moment.
First of all, I'd like to say I'm sorry about Austin. I hear through the grapevine that there's not a lot of nice things happening down there. But anyway, it's an opportunity for me, and anyone who gets an opportunity like this is really sitting on the cloud, you know. You hit me with a bomb here. I never expect. I know you got people coming in, but I never expected this. So I'm really pleased. I like the area, and I think that, well, I'm just looking forward to it.
Welcome back to Southeastern Wrestling. This match was originally scheduled to be our television main event. For those of you who joined us late, Austin Idol was brutally assaulted by the Mongolian Stomper at the front of today's. He has suffered a broken nose. He's going to be unable to wrestle. Another development. Wait a minute. The Midnight Express has substituted themselves for Norman Frederick Charles III, the executioner, who are the scheduled opponents. And from the way I understand their contract, Charlie, they can legally do this in a non-title match, substitute different members of the corporation.
Mr. Olympia in a precarious situation. I would.
Senior referee Jimmy McGuire giving Mr. Olympia the choice, and Olympia chooses to wrestle. So I guess it'll be a handicap match, Charlie.
Exactly what we have going here. Good shoulder smash by Olympia again. Sends cover to the canvas. And it's Mr. Olympia up and under his mat. There he has a sleeper. Sleeper clamp down.
Olympia caught from behind by the Junkyard Dog, Norvell Austin Condrey, still the legal man in the ring. And wait a minute. Condrey and Austin standing Olympia vertically to the canvas, holding him high for a double suplex. Referee Jimmy McGuire calling for the bell as Dennis Condrey goes to the mask of Mr. Olympia.
They're going for that mask.
Both all three members of the Express now.
And Rick going to say they are about have the mask of Mr. Olympia off. Wait a minute, here comes Paul Armstrong in the ring. Armstrong moving away at Rose. Armstrong turning around, moving Norvell Austin.
Dennis Condrey has got that mask a quarter of the way up the face of Olympia. It's Armstrong with the abdominal stretch and Rose off the top rope. Referee Jimmy McGuire still signaling for more assistance.
What a mix we have here. 3-on-2 situation. 3-on-2, and we've got Tom Jones, Billy Golden, Vision and Greatness, and the Express hits the dressing room. We'll be right back with more in just a moment.
Rick, what can I say, Charlie? Probably the most unpredictable hour of Southeastern Wrestling ever. For those of you who joined us late, Austin Idol brutally assaulted by the Mongolian Stomper at the front of the show. The Stomper is nowhere to be found. We searched the television studio for him. He's gone, and Austin's hurt, man.
And he did leave in very record time, I would say, after that assault.
By the way, our last match, the television main event, referee Jimmy McGuire rules by referee's decision. Your winner was Mr. Olympia in the tag team match that closed today's show.
And regardless of the situation, the NWA World Heavyweight Champion Ric Flair is definitely on the way. And we have had an eventful hour. Our time is gone. We'll see you next week.
Mid-South Wrestling Television Network. I'm your host, Boyd Pierce, and we have a lot of excitement coming up. The Black Ninja is here on this week's card. Also, Ted DiBiase will be wrestling. A formidable tag team duo that I know you're going to like, one of the greatest ever to come to the Mid-South area, Mr. Wrestling 2, joining forces with Tiger Conway Jr. Also, Mr. Olympia returns, and he'll take on the rugged Matt Bourne. A lot of excitement, a lot of things to tell you about it, and the man to explain it, no one better than our guest commentator, Cowboy Bill Watts.
Well, thank you, Boyd. It's great to be here tonight, and I think the big news is welcome back Mr. Olympia. The guy was a top star of Mid-South Wrestling, a great star. He sacrificed himself, so to speak, when Mr. Wrestling 2 was injured and took his place in a match with Stagger Lee and was a victim of the Rat Pack. But he's back, and he may give the Rat Pack their own pack attack. The big news again is March 21st, downtown New Orleans, will be a one-night tournament for the North American title. Stagger Lee's mysterious disappearance has caused the North American title for the first time in its history to be in limbo. And they're going to have a one-night tournament. A lot of big names are already signing up for that. Tito Santana, that people watch out of Atlanta. Super Destroyer. Of course, Mr. Olympia's put his name in the hat. Many others. As it gets closer, we'll certainly have more top stars filling in. A great star, probably the greatest star ever in Mid-South. A man that's a lot of people get to see in the ring, don't often get to visit with, but a very personable young man. I'm proud to call him a friend. The Junkyard Dog. You know, these guys have a tremendously busy schedule. We get a lot of letters at Mid-South asking that the dog and the different stars can drop by and visit them. I know we got a nice letter from a kindergarten teacher in LeCompte and different places. These guys' schedules are so busy, they'd like to have the time to do it. Well, the Junkyard Dog found time on February 10th to go to DeRidder and visit a school there. And when word got out in that town, they had Junkyard Dog Day, and I'll tell you, it was great. The mayor, Creighton Pugh, gave the dog the key to the city. Representative Eldridge Morris gave him the pelican, the state bird, on a lapel clip. The dog really enjoyed it, and the people enjoyed it, and thanks to Channel 7, that's KPLC at Channel 7 in Lake Charles, Louisiana. We have some of their file footage from their news. Let's watch that now.
The Junkyard Dog, one of the most popular wrestling figures in southwest Louisiana. The dog made a special appearance at Eastside Upper Elementary in DeRidder. Vicki Dixon, coordinator of the event, says the visit stressed to students the importance of education.
And let them know that even someone they admire, like a wrestler, has an education.
After walking through classrooms and signing autographs, he spoke to a group of special education students. The dog had a wrestling match in Mississippi Wednesday evening, and after the school visit, proceeds to Lake Charles, where another match is scheduled. Despite his busy agenda, he still tries to fit in school visits whenever possible.
And it's just more or less an everyday thing. A lot of times I get out and do this thing, you know. A lot of people don't never take the opportunity to go out and, you know, get fame and stuff, get very well known, and they forget about the way that they grew up. And a lot of times I like to go back in schools and visit.
Between matches, the Junkyard Dog says he will continue to spread the word that school and education are the most important things a child can experience. Robert White, 7 News, DeRidder.
Well, I'm sure everybody in DeRidder enjoyed the dog's visit. I know he enjoyed it. He was beaming when he came back. This is the kind of guy he is. He loves to help others. He loves children. And his schedule permitting, he makes these surprise visits. He and Jack Curtis, who you saw there with him. We'll be back with more action after these words from Mid-South. Mr. Wrestling 2 has been a top superstar for many years in professional wrestling. A man of pride, a man of mystery, a man that protects his identity, is proud of his spirit, his heart, his courage. But, you know, I guess, Boyd, even little things that could seemingly in another setting be rather comical can be oftentimes very disconcerting, or very sinister. Like, I guess, the Chinese water torture or the Russian water torture. You know, you think just about a faucet dripping, that shouldn't drive anybody crazy. But if you're isolated and that dripping's in the middle of your forehead, they've driven people completely crazy. Well, somebody has been putting this kind of pressure on Wrestling 2. And when we got here today, Oral Link had said when he arrived and was setting up the television cameras, there was another symbolical hanging of Mr. Wrestling 2. We'll look at that right now as Director Oral Link pre-taped some of it before all the fans got in. And this is the type of sinister situation that we're viewing right now that has been going on. And last December the 8th, it kind of came to a head. I think most people had thought that Kamala and Akbar were taking off masks for one reason and one reason only, to unmask Stagger Lee. But then it seemed that his exuberance for collecting those coups and putting on his spear overflowed, and he was going to get Mr. Wrestling 2's mask. And I think with the pressure, Wrestling 2 immediately thought that Skandar Akbar was the guy that was doing the different symbolical deformations of his wrestling gear. And it all boiled over and exploded on that December the 8th with a long-lasting effect, in that Wrestling 2 and Stagger Lee were scheduled to wrestle Matt Bourne and Ted DiBiase for the Mid-South Tag titles, loser of the fall to leave town. Wrestling 2 was injured in the melee with Kamala, and Mr. Olympia had to take his place. Let's relive that moment because it's very important today. Another respected, well-established wrestling star exploded on the scene in 1982 here on Mid-South, Mr. Wrestling 2, the masked man that knows no peer. But he's been on a slow boil because somebody has been symbolically defacing replica equipment, like a Wrestling 2 mask, making threats through the mail and things like that to Wrestling 2. It all came to a head when Wrestling 2 thought it was Skandar Akbar and his savage Kamala, who's been trained to unmask people. Let's watch that incident on December the 18th. Stagger Lee, I would be... Wrestling 2! Wrestling 2! I had to think that there's something. I know how upset Wrestling to look at him. Wrestling 2 is really reading Akbar the Riot Act about that mask. I know how upset he's been. All right, Wrestling 2 starts on Akbar. Mr. Wrestling 2, you better watch it. Here comes Kamala. Here comes Kamala. Wrestling 2 fires away on Kamala. He pops Kamala a knee. He pops him another knee. Wrestling 2, Wrestling 2. Knock Kamala clear out of the ring. Wrestling 2 has just slammed whoever he is off the top rope. And Wrestling 2 is going to do some unmasking. He's going to do some unmasking of his own. Akbar trying to pull the man out of the ring. It looks like Wrestling 2 is struggling for that. Kamala's going off the top rope. Wrestling 2 doesn't see him. 385 pounds drops on Wrestling 2. Now Kamala is going for Wrestling 2's mask. Wrestling 2 is helpless. He's inert. He's laying there. Kamala is about to unmask Wrestling 2. What nobody in the history of wrestling's done. Here comes Olympia and Stagger Lee, two more masked men. And they're in there to help Wrestling 2. Mr. Wrestling 2, a man who goes into a rage when somebody touches his mask or his personal belongings, proved right there that left alone, he could possibly be the man who would stop the onslaught of the giant Kamala. However, he had more to deal with than that, and he was hurt. And that injury stopped him from a meeting of destiny. He and Stagger Lee were to wrestle DiBiase and Bourne for the Mid-South Tag Team title. One fall, no disqualification, with the loser of the fall having to leave Mid-South, just as the Junkyard Dog and Mr. Olympia had to do that on October 27th. Stagger Lee got Mr. Olympia to fill in on December the 18th as Wrestling 2's partner. Let's join the final moments when once again the last laugh was had by the Rat Pack. No disqualification is a license for getting away with just about whatever you want to. Mr. Olympia will have to leave Mid-South for 90 days. Well, Mr. Olympia's time is up, and he's back. He comes back today. He's a former Mississippi heavyweight champion, former one half of the Mid-South Tag Team Championships. As a matter of fact, when Mike George was injured, it seemed like being the partner of the Junkyard Dog, you had a short history. It seemed like you became a marked man. Dick Murdoch had just been injured and sent to Japan, and he'd been the Dog's partner. And Mr. Olympia came, put out his hand, said, "I'll be your partner to the bitter end." And he was. And even when the Dog was gone and Stagger Lee was here, when Mr. Wrestling 2 got hurt, he showed the kind of heart he had. He went out and took Mr. Wrestling's 2 place. It cost him a vacation, a hard, unearning vacation. But he's back. We'll see him later after these words from Mid-South Wrestling.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kendo Nagasaki, the Black Ninja. There, Barbara, is the mysterious face of Kendo Nagasaki in the specialized uniform that those who have ever traveled to the Far East, to the Orient, would recognize as the uniform of the Kendo warrior. You see the war plates about his chest. You see the specialized plate across his face. You see the Kendo stick. But don't for 1 second doubt that Kendo Nagasaki is specialized only in the art of Kendo. He is proficient in Jiu-Jitsu. He is proficient in Judo. He is proficient in Karate. He is proficient in Taekwondo. Every type of martial arts known to man, this man has at one point in his life specialized. Now you mentioned that Kendo, all of the Oriental arts, Jiu-Jitsu, Judo, Karate, are all primarily defensive, and that is what makes the Black Ninja unique, because Kendo Nagasaki, so proficient in each and every form of these arts, is the first man, to my knowledge, anywhere in the world whose mental attitude was shaped that it was no longer a defensive procedure, but became an offensive procedure. And as a result, this man had stripped from him his high degree of black belt in karate. He had stripped from him his high degree in judo. He was thrown from the sumo stables and not allowed to come back and perform because of the people that he hurt. He entered the world of professional wrestling. He has been to Europe. He is barred from Europe. He is barred from England. He is barred from many places in the world. He's the most devastating thing that I have ever seen.
This event, a 10-minute time limit, introducing from the Far East, Kendo Nagasaki, the Black Ninja. His opponent, Jerry Caldwell.
Ring announcer Jack Curtis Jr. substituting for Reeser Bowden, who's on a well-earned vacation.
Ted DiBiase coming up next in a new tag team combination, Mr. Wrestling 2 and Tiger Conway Jr. And then Mr. Olympia will meet one of his must-be nemesis, Matt Bourne, a member of the Rat Pack, in his first match back here on television, Mr. Olympia versus Matt Bourne. Man made short work of him.
The Black Ninja, the winner over Jerry Caldwell. More action coming up after this message from Mid-South Wrestling Television Network.
This event, a 10-minute time limit. From Omaha, Ted DiBiase. His opponent, Ron Ellis.
One fall or 10-minute time limit. Newcomer Ron Ellis taking on Ted DiBiase. As Rick Ferreira clears the ring with the instructions, calls for the bell. Here's Bill Watts.
Well, I don't know where matchmaker Grizzly Smith finds some of these guys, but you've got to give them a chance. You know, there's been some occasions here, Boyd Pierce, when you and I have been watching, that there's been a relative newcomer that's come over seemingly to be fed to the lions, so to speak, that has exploded and caught everybody's attention. And it often seems like these men are outgunned and outmanned, and on appearances, I don't think this guy can hold up to DiBiase, as could Caldwell not hold up to the Black Ninja. But you never know when you're going to find that diamond in the rough. And speaking of diamond in the rough, Don Diamond was one of those situations that we had here a couple of years ago that really exploded on TV. Power slam. DiBiase does that so well. Man's a great athlete. Football star at West Texas State University. His father was a great wrestler before him. Figure four leg lock.
He locked it in on him, Bill, and gains a victory over Ron Ellis. That's Ted DiBiase. We'll be back. Tag team action, Mr. Wrestling 2 and Tiger Conway Jr. after this message from Mid-South.
This event, a 4-man tag team bout, a 10-minute time limit. Introducing Ron Kessler and Kelly Kaninsky. Their opponents, Tiger Conway Jr. and Mr. Wrestling number 2.
Tag team action now as Ron Kessler in the black and red and his partner from Vancouver, British Columbia, Kelly Kaninsky, take on the popular duo of Mr. Wrestling 2 and Tiger Conway Jr. Alfred Neely, the referee, saying, let me have one man from each team to get the match underway. Calls for the bell.
And as ring announcer Jack Curtis just got out, Jack's very proud. His mother and father just had their 50th wedding anniversary. Of course, his father was a great wrestler in his day with Jack's uncle, George Curtis. A lot of these guys come from wrestling families. As you're looking out there, there's two of them. Tiger Conway Jr., his father was a great in the South Texas area, and Kelly Kiniski, whose father was the world's champion, Big Thunder from Canada, one of Canada's greatest all-time athletes. And Kelly starting out the hard way, just like they all do. Just because your dad's got a big name, it doesn't do anything for you in the ring. And you can see he's in a lot of trouble right now, facing two rugged customers as his partner looks on. In 3 weeks, Boyd, we're going to have midgets. Crowd favorite. The kids will be looking forward to that. 3 weeks from today here on Mid-South Wrestling. Next week, this team right here, Tiger Conway and Mr. Wrestling 2, will face Ted DiBiase and Matt Bourne in the non-title match. In 2 weeks, the Masked Super Destroyer from Atlanta will be here live. Also, King Kong Bundy from Dallas and Killer Brooks. Lots of big names heading this way. A lot of things getting ready to happen. Anytime it gets close to Superdome time, Boyd, it seems like things get to happen. It's just been kind of traditional. A lot of things come out of the woodwork. Another superstar is on its way to Mid-South Wrestling, Hacksaw Bruce Reed. And we had an explosion when we were talking about that, Grizzly Smith and I, when one Hacksaw Dugan said there is only one Hacksaw in Mid-South Wrestling, and there will be only one Hacksaw in Mid-South Wrestling, and you're looking at him. And so I just don't know. That could be an explosion the minute it happens. Short body slam. Another short body slam. Set through move. Landing on his head. And there you have the fall.
I told you that you'd like Mr. Wrestling 2 and Tiger Conway Jr. proving their formidable tag team. We'll be back. Mr. Olympia versus Matt Bourne after this message from Mid-South Wrestling.
This event carries a 10-minute time limit. Introducing Matt Bourne. And ladies and gentlemen, returning to Mid-South, one of Mid-South's most popular stars, Mr. Olympia.
The introduction, there's the man with a hat in the ring, gray trunks, gray hat, the rugged Matt Bourne against the popular Mr. Olympia. Making his return, Rick Pereira calls for the bell. Bill Watts with the commentary.
Sparks are flying right there. You can be sure of that. Let me tell you, nobody likes those unpaid vacations. Now, Mr. Olympia was sitting on top of the world. He and the Junkyard Dog, an insufferable team, and so quickly his world had kind of gone right into the outhouse, so to speak, and it all seemed to happen with the Rat Pack. He's in there against a good athlete. Matt Bourne, a very cocky individual, an upbeat, low-key type member of the Rat Pack. Everybody remember that infamous day that Matt Bourne arrived when the Hacksaw Dugan had been detained, and they made fools of everybody, myself included. Even Paul Bosch, that venerable promoter who's seen about everything in wrestling from Houston, was here, and we were all taken in. Tony Atlas was so taken in, he'd gone out in the crowd and accepted a balloon from the gorilla from the Midway. This was during the State Fair here in Freeport, and everybody just thought it was one of the barkers from the Midway inviting the kids to stick around after it, and he got excited and was watching the matches. He was giving away balloons, covered head to toe in a gorilla suit, when it turned out to be Hacksaw Dugan. But Matt Bourne had been flown in by DiBiase, and they won the Mid-South Tag Team titles and caused the Junkyard Dog to get a 90-day vacation. Then they caused Mr. Olympia to get a vacation. So the Rat Pack is certainly a formidable group. He doesn't want any truck with Akbar and his Iranian oil interests, or his, especially after Akbar at one time had the Iron Sheik under his contractual employment, a man who was the Khomeini's bodyguard. And speaking of the Iron Sheik, next week, right here on TV, we'll have a match from Houston, Texas, of the Iron Sheik versus one Mr. Wrestling 2. We'll also have Tony Atlas against Hacksaw Dugan next week here on TV. Chavo Guerrero will be here. They're still right on going. They're right on going. Two in the ring just haven't got it settled. Ricky Farrar's called for the fall. And Ricky Farrar, since they kept on, he dropped right on down, and he counted it. He said, if you all want to keep on going, keep on going. And DiBiase just got drop kicked right out of the ring, and Mr. Olympia proves he's back in Mid-South. And listen to that crowd.
A tremendous ovation for Mr. Olympia. We still have time. We'll have more action after these words from Mid-South Wrestling Television Network.
This event, one fall, TV time remaining. Introducing from Georgia, Marty Lundy. And from Knoxville, Tennessee, Tim Horner.
Knoxville, Tennessee's Tim Horner in the maroon jacket and tights against Rome, Georgia's Pride and Joy in the black trunks, Marty Lundy. Alfred Neely calls for the bell. A battle between two youngsters who realize the victory here would greatly enhance their chances in arenas all over the Mid-South area.
Here's two youngsters that both have bright futures. Tim Horner, who's a fine little athlete, and Marty Lundy, who has certainly improved. He's a big, rugged guy, very powerful guy. Does a 600-pound squat in the gymnasium. But Lundy powered out. He's gotten to be a powerful young man. He's really been in the gymnasium, really working hard on his strength. It's a very important thing. A lot of times you can get out of a lot of trouble when you got that overpowering strength. Still, you can be overconfident, like right there, and think you're going to drop it. That guy's not going to sit there if he can move in less than a minute, Boyd Pierce. These two in a television time limit remaining bout, going right down to the wire. We could have a victory at any second, Boyd. I know as has happened in the past, you'll stay with it as long as you can, trying to give these kids an opportunity for one of them to gain a victory.
Right down to the end we'll stay, Bill, as we saw this week.
Looks like right there. 2 count. No, he's out.
The Junkyard Dog as he visited D. Ritter for the Junkyard Dog Day. The return of Mr. Olympia. Our time is just about gone. Remember, next week, the big tag team match, Wrestling 2 and Tiger Conway Jr. versus Ted DiBiase and Matt Bourne. For our guest commentator who did another tremendous job, Cowboy Bill Watts, I'm your host, Boyd Pierce, saying goodbye, everybody, as our time is running out here on Mid-South Wrestling Television Network.
Welcome to Southwest Championship Wrestling. An exciting lineup for you today. You'll see this Cowboy Scott Casey in the ring in our opening match. Gorgeous Gino Hernandez returns to Southwest Championship Wrestling. He'll be coming out in the second match. Also, the Hangman Bobby Jaggers is here, one of the grapplers. And the Hangman Bobby Jaggers, when I mention his name, he'll be going against the Southwest Heavyweight Champion. And ladies and gentlemen, this time, I would like to introduce to you our new Southwest Heavyweight Champion. He won this title last night at the Hemisphere Arena in San Antonio. Congratulations, Bob Sweetan. It was a hard fight.
Thank you, Steve. It definitely was. Like the people are going to see later on in the program, we're going to show the cage match right here on television. It was a hard-fought match. It was a grueling match. It took its toll on both of us. I was fortunate enough to come out on top. This is something I've been after for a long time, as well as the people know. I've been chasing Tully Blanchard here, there, and everywhere. I finally got the man cornered here in San Antonio, and this is what it come to. I've got the belt. And let's get a few things straight. All the people, all the wrestlers in the Southwest Championship area, you take a look at this belt. It's mine now. I fought a long time, and I fought hard to get it. And I'm going to fight a lot harder to keep it. So, gentlemen, you prepare yourselves. You get your names on the contract. Whoever it is, it doesn't make much difference to me who steps in the ring with me. The only important thing is that I have the belt now, and I intend to keep it. It doesn't make much difference to me what I have to do, but I will keep this belt no matter what, Steve.
Thank you, Bob. We'll look at that match a little later on where he won that championship. Stay tuned now, because our first match goes into the ring after this.
West Championship Wrestling. Our referee is Jack Howe, and this is our first event, one fall, 10-minute time limit. Weighing in at 245 pounds, co-holder of the Southwest Tag Team Championship, the grappler number one, and he is managed by Don Carson. In the opposite corner, he's from Amarillo, Texas, 236 pounds, the very popular Scott Casey.
There you have the introductions, ladies and gentlemen, by our ring announcer, Sam Maneker. Referee Jack Howe asked for the bell, and we have got grappler number 1 against the Cowboy, Scott Casey. Of course, the grappler number 1's manager, Don Carson, is right here at ringside, keeping his eye on the action. And you see the grappler going for the leg. Casey moved out of the way. Casey get a little riding time up on top of the grappler. The grappler goes for the rope. Gets a break. Stays with him, grabs him by the arm, whips him across the ring. Oh, and a knee caught Casey as Casey was looking for the backflip to try to finish out the grappler. He's grappler on top of Casey. The count is 2. Casey kicks out again. Casey's going for the mask. Casey is going for the mask. He's trying to unmask the grappler. Well, I'd like to see him unmask and find out who he is. Casey going after the mask. 1 minute remains in the match. 1 minute to go. Casey still going after the mask. Will he get it off? He about has it up. Well, one thing we can see, he's got a beard. He's got a beard.
I think we might get it off. There's just a short time remaining in the match. He's got it up. The grappler has caught the bottom of the mask in his teeth to keep it from being pulled away.
Oh, he finally got it back down, but Casey goes right after it again. The referee warning Scott Casey about going after that mask. He's trying to untie it. Will we find out who the grappler number 1 is as Casey is trying to identify him for us? He ducked under that one. Oh, forearm to the rib cage, an elbow smash. Casey wasn't there. Here goes Casey back for the mask again. Casey trying to unmask the grappler. Will he get that mask off? Time is about to expire. As we check with the official timekeeper, there's the bell. And Casey being pushed out of there. The grappler, his mask untied. He's loading up the boot. He's loading up the boot. And he kicks Scott Casey with that boot. The match is already over. But the grappler loaded up the boot, kicked Scott Casey after the match was over. And we almost saw who the grappler number 1 was. But Casey paid for it in. In the end, the referee calls it a draw. Scott Casey against grappler number 1. We'll be back with Southwest Championship Wrestling right after this. Last week that gorgeous Gino Hernandez will be back at Southwest Championship Wrestling. He's here today. He'll be going into the ring in just a moment. And Gino, I want to thank you for coming back. A lot of fans have been writing in from all over the United States. Want to know where you were? And here you are.
All over nationwide. Don't attempt to adjust some sense, and your eyes aren't deceiving you either. Better look at Tom Selleck. Better look at Sylvester Stallone. Gorgeous Gino Hernandez is back. All you people nationwide, I want you to know just how lucky you are. And secondly, I'd like to say, Steve Stack, it wasn't the letters. It's other things that I would tend to prove to a lot of people is why I'm back. You know, everybody's talking about these grapplers, too, being such a great tag team. I just want to say one thing, and I don't even have to mention any names, but you know, and everybody out there knows, who the greatest tag team of all time was, and I'll leave it at the Dynamic Duo. I don't want to say any more about that. I just want to say to all you women out there in the airports and the hotel lobbies, keep your hands off my body, and now I intend to go to the ring and show you why I am the greatest of all time, the handsome half-breed, gorgeous Gino Hernandez.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have to say very much. He does all the talking. Gorgeous Gino Hernandez is back in Southwest Championship Wrestling. He's scheduled to go to the ring now for a match with El Santo Negro. So let's join Sam Maneker, the ring announcer.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we go with another big match from Houston, Texas, weighing in at 230 pounds, gorgeous Gino Hernandez. And his opponent from Guadalajara, Mexico, weighing 225, El Santo Negro. 1 fall, 10-minute time limit.
El Santo Negro has got Hernandez in the corner, and El Santo Negro hits him one. Grabs him by the arm, whips him into the rope again. Back lifts him on here. Oh, and Hernandez is hurting in the back. Gino Hernandez in the corner. But he whips El Santo Negro around. He reverses it. Oh! El Santo Negro diving for Gino Hernandez. He wasn't there. He hurt that shoulder. Hernandez now trying to figure out what he can do. Indian deathlock. Down he goes. 1, 2, 3. And the gorgeous one. Gino Hernandez has his hand raised in victory as he comes up with an exciting victory here on Southwest Championship Wrestling over El Santo Negro. Championship Wrestling, the new Southwest Heavyweight Champion, Bob Sweetan. And Bob, once again, I want to congratulate you. We didn't have much time at the beginning of the program, but fans from all over have been calling all day today, have been busy answering the phone, passing those congratulations on to you, and I want to say it was an exciting victory.
Thank you, Steve. I felt good about it, and the fans of Texas and all across the United States, they were behind me 100%. It makes a man, when a man steps in that ring and he knows the people are behind him, it gives you that extra little push. It's like a home field advantage in a football game or a baseball game. And it makes you feel good to know that the people are behind you 100% at all times.
Well, they sure were. You know, it was a cage match, and it's very seldom you ever see any kind of a championship match decided in a cage, but there was a reason for it.
Absolutely a reason. If the people have been following championship wrestling for any length of time, they know exactly what kind of an ordeal I've had with Tully Blanchard, the run-ins I've had with him, and matches I've been in with him. People have interfered, and Tully Blanchard gets in a little bit of trouble. He runs out of the ring. So I feel, and obviously Southwest Championship Wrestling felt that a cage was a necessity in this kind of a match.
Well, I like the way you got him to sign a contract last week here on Southwest Championship Wrestling.
Well, a man like Tully Blanchard, a cagey individual like him, you have to try to plan things. You have to try to outthink him. You have to try to outsmart him. I was fortunate enough to get that done. He was so flustered after he signed that contract, he couldn't even wrestle his match. And I think this had a lot to do with my victory at the Hemisphere.
Okay, Bob, I want you to watch with me. I'd like to see it again, and all you fans at home. Let's take you now to the Hemisphere Arena in San Antonio. A Southwest Heavyweight Championship match in a cage, $5,000 put up, a winner takes all. Let's pick up the action. It was just a great state of mind for everybody.
Well, Steve, it was a very proud moment for me. I felt good because I hadn't let the people of Texas or San Antonio down. I told everybody that if I didn't win this match, I was going to leave the state of Texas, and I felt very good about winning that because I had no intentions of leaving the state of Texas, Steve.
Okay, Bob, they tell me now that we do have that videotape ready, so let's pick up the action from the Hemisphere Arena. I don't know why we're looking at boots. We're supposed to be looking at a match from the Hemisphere Arena.
It's a little bit ridiculous. You think something's going on, Steve?
Hey, I don't know. I haven't seen Tully Blanchard all day, but it wouldn't surprise me if he didn't tear the tape up or something.
Now, this is a kind of a thing that Mr. Blanchard is famous for. Here's a man that's tried everything possible to get to me and aggravate me. Now we've got a little bit of missing tape. I'm sure that Tully Blanchard had something to do with it. Well, Bob, it's quite obvious he didn't want anybody to see him get beat right here on national television.
Well, stay on, Bob. We'll check with the director here in just a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go away. We'll be back with more Southwest Championship Wrestling right after this. One of the officials of Southwest Championship Wrestling, you were standing here. That tape is nowhere to be found. It suddenly has disappeared from the room where we keep all those videotapes. It's not in the truck. Our director can't find it.
It's a strange thing, isn't it? It just happens to be the tape that Tully Blanchard gets defeated on. Well, Tully Blanchard, this is just for you. Even if the tape is never to be found, even if you destroyed it, whatever you did to it, it doesn't make any difference because here is the proof of the pudding. Right here is the proof that you got defeated right here in your own hometown, Tully Blanchard. Right here is the proof that you're no longer a champion. Here's the proof that I beat you. That's all the proof I need. So you can take that tape and do whatever you want with it. Keep it for your old age or whatever. But the fact of it is, the belt is mine. I am the new Southwest Heavyweight Champion. There's nothing you can do about it. You can steal all the tapes you want. Holler and scream to all the people and say, no, he didn't beat me. But the fact is, Tully Blanchard, I have the belt. I am the Southwest Heavyweight Champion. And there's nothing that you can do about it.
Well, Bob, once again, congratulations. It was an exciting victory. I'll do all I can all week to see if I can round up that tape, and maybe we can show it to the fans next week here.
Well, I hope so, because I don't want to let the fans of Texas down. I want them to see exactly what happened. And I'll tell you what, as long as the fans of Texas keep backing me up, I'm going to be the champion.
Good luck to you. I know you'll make a great champion.
Thank you, Steve.
Bob Sweetan, the new Southwest Heavyweight Champion. Now, let's go to the ring for our ring announcer, Sam Menaker, and our next match.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we go in our next event, one fall, 10-minute time limit. Introducing from Charlotte, North Carolina, 228 pounds, Rick Quick Draw McGraw. And his opponent from Kentucky at 220 pounds, Eric Embry. One fall, 10-minute time limit.
Well, Well, the introductions, Eric Embry against Rick Quickdraw McGraw here on Southwest Championship Wrestling. Well, I don't know what happened to that tape. I don't know what happened to Tully Blanchard. He must be in hiding all day today. I haven't seen him around. I know he's pretty upset with himself and over losing that championship at the Hemisphere Arena. And there's no doubt in my mind he probably had something to do with the disappearance of the videotape.
You know, Wahoo McDaniels is a spectacular drawing card. The fans all over the country love him, and I really am proud and, you know, that I'm going to be part of this great Southwest Championship Wrestling and know that Wahoo McDaniels will be here. He's a headliner, no doubt about that.
He sure is. It's been a while since he's been down here in the state of Texas. Jack Howe, the referee, checking on the shoulders of Eric Embry. No count, so one of the shoulders is up. McGraw holding on to Embry. Still a lot of excitement here to go on Southwest Championship Wrestling. A couple more matches after this one. Where the head goes, the rest of the body must go.
That's right. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, whoa. I'm surprised at that. Now both men slapping and
How quick things can change. Big collision. Down goes McGraw. Reversal. It's Embry going into the rope. McGraw in front. He has him up on his shoulder. See what he does with him. He's got him down. Is it a victory? It's 1, 2, 3, and Rick Quickdraw McGraw battling it out with Eric Embry. Finally, he got him in his favorite hold, put him down. 1, 2, 3, and Rick Quickdraw McGraw wins it. Stay tuned because the excitement continues right after this.
this event, 1 fall, 10-minute time limit from Tonga, weighing in at 285 pounds, Tonga John. His opponent is from Istanbul, Turkey, 275, Ali Bey, the Turk.
Well, the introductions of this match. Oh, Tonga John in behind, starting quickly at the bell. Tonga John going after Ali Bey, the Turk. And this Tonga John is aggressive. Look at him go. Dives with a head. Tonga John does, and the Turk wasn't there. Another tremendous crowd on hand here at the Junction tonight. We want to invite you out to the taping of Southwest Championship Wrestling. Look at that move from the Turk. It could be all over, and it is. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Ali Bey, the Turk, puts the big man, Tonga John, down. Don't go away. His guest here on Southwest Championship Wrestling, a very close friend of mine from up in the Panhandle, Amarillo, Texas, former world's champion, Terry Funk. I know you just got off the airplane, rushed down here. Thanks for coming by.
Well, thank you very much, Steve. You know, it's always a pleasure being here on national television, and it's a pleasure being here. And, Steve, I want to say one thing. A few weeks ago, Tully Blanchard said that I was afraid to come down here and see him. Well, I certainly wasn't afraid of Tully Blanchard. I'll tell you what, I've never been afraid of a fella like that in my entire life. What it was the worst weather that anybody has ever had in the entire history of the Texas Panhandle. I'll tell you what, the snow, and I haven't ever lied my entire life, but the snow, I'll bet the snow was about that deep, Steve. I'll tell you what, you couldn't have seen anything. You'd have just had to mole it up there.
I'm glad I wasn't there.
Well, you better be happy you weren't. It's been a rough old winter, but we still got our cows and cattle through it. They're still alive, and I am too, and I just want Tully Blanchard to know that for sure. And I want you people to know that too, because I'm going to be back, and you're going to get to see Terry Funk wrestle again. And Steve Stack, I just might start out with you. How would
that wouldn't be much of a match. How's your brother doing?
He's doing great. He's doing real fine, and he's looking forward to coming back in this area too, Steve.
Thank you, Terry. Nice to see you. Of course, I know Tully Blanchard's going around bragging you're afraid of him, and he keeps saying about the time he liked to tore your ear off it. I think he'll come back.
It's still there, Steve, and it'll be there a lot longer than his will.
Thank you, Terry. Nice to see you.
You're welcome, Steve. We'll see you all later. It's good talking to you.
Thank you very much. Terry Funk, let's go to the ring now for our next match here on Southwest Championship Wrestling.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we go with a 1 fall event, 10-minute time limit. Introducing from Dunlap, Kansas, weighing in at 255, the Hangman, Bobby Jaggers, and his very popular opponent and absolutely one of the top-notch wrestlers in the world today, the Southwest Heavyweight Wrestling Champion from Round Rock, Texas, weighs in at 285, Mr. Piledriver Bob Sweetan.
Time running out here on this hour of excitement of Southwest Championship Wrestling. Steve Stack here at ringside. It's been my pleasure to be with you this week and every week. We hope you'll enjoy it because we do bring you the finest and the best in professional wrestling. Sweetan with a kick. Down goes Jaggers. Sweetan on top. It could be all over. 2 count and Jaggers kicks out. 30 seconds remain. Television time, that is. This match could go on longer. We hope that you have enjoyed it. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, as you watch Bob Sweetan and Bobby Jaggers battle it out, Wahoo McDaniels, Colosso Colisetti, and much more next week here on Southwest Championship Wrestling. Steve Stack saying so long from the Junction in San Antonio, Texas.